Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Michelle Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Matthew Uber, the founder and CEO of Spinwheel Sales Consulting, joining us. With over 20 years of experience in sales development, Matthew launched Spinwheel Sales in 2020 in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, to empower companies with elite sales staffing, strategic consulting, and customized training through Spinwheel Sales Academy. His firm has gained traction with a growing presence, helping ambitious businesses drive revenue. We'll explore Matthew's founding story, how Spinwheel Sales is transforming sales performance, and his vision for scaling this dynamic consultancy. So with that being said, let's dive in. Matthew, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's kick things off for our listeners. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the sales landscape, perhaps around ineffective sales processes or staffing challenges, inspired you to start Spinwheel Sales Consulting?
This might be a little longer story than a simple answer, but I could tell you, so in my 20 years of sales experience, I always was originally an individual contributor. And one of the skills that always helped me in that role was being somebody who was unafraid of picking up the phone and doing the cold calling side of the business. And as I elevated into my career and moved into leadership roles, I found that was a skill that not a lot of my peers had and not a lot of my peers were willing to do. And my first head of sales role at a company called Dealer On, as I evolved into that role, I kept finding myself having to beat my head against the wall trying to teach these veteran sales guys to pick up the phone and try to generate business. And so much so that I just said, you know what, I'm just going to build a team of people who only do that. And so the original need I found for, I would say, what my area of expertise is, which is building SDR teams and building cold calling teams and building sales organizations from the ground up, it started there. So at that place, I convinced the owner to give me a single head count to proof the concept. We proved it in less than 45 days. We scaled that to 3 of the other managers. Within the next 8 months, we grew that team from 0 to over 40 SDRs in this company. And that became the foundation of every growth factor, and every person we hired in sales all started off as an SDR and grew from that aspect. As I did that, I took that model and I went to a couple of other companies as head of sales and vice president of sales in these companies. And what I found is this was a model that was probably very much needed for a lot of companies, not just in the industry that I was, which was automotive. So I originally created Spinwheel Sales Academy because I had elevated into a role where I didn't have a day-to-day impact on coaching and training, and I still missed the idea of developing entry-level salespeople and teaching them those skill sets. So I created a sales academy that was essentially just something I did on the side to teach people sales and then help them find a job. And so often when I had people go through those academies and was helping them getting placed, those companies wanted to hire me or wanted to bring me in. And so that kind of created my opportunity and my need for me to build the consultancy firm, which is what I've been doing fundamentally for the past 3 years.
Love that. Yeah, from what it sounds like, you've pretty much established yourself with really a niche offer here, which is building SDR teams. Now, want to get into the nuts and bolts for our listeners and even some potential clients that might be tuning in. Walk us through how, in the present day, how does Spinwheel Sales Consulting generate revenue today? What's your core offering, like sales staffing or training programs, and how do you structure what you do for your clients?
Yeah, so today, right now, my company has basically 3 different areas that we offer assistance center for. So primarily the foundation, if I meet with a company and they feel that they have a need, typically the first thing I'll do is I'll come in and offer a free consultation to say, what do you think you need? What are you good at? What are you not good at? And we'll assess those needs. The foundational need that we offer is consulting. And sometimes companies typically work with young companies or founder-led companies where they're the salesperson, and I'll come in and I'll teach them how to sell, to build a sales team, develop a sales team as an outside consultant. A lot of times what that leads into is them not only wanting me to teach them how to do it, but for me to install some of my resources as well. So I offer in Spinwheel Sales, I offer a staffing model as well where we can bring in both domestic and foreign sales reps that have all gone through my training program that are all a part of my organization. And we currently, in our sales organization, have about 25 active SDRs working for different clients, helping them in a staffing model. A second thing we do is if they need additional staffing outside of sales focused people, we also have non-sales staffing. And because I have today about 100 people a day apply to work for me and apply to be trained in some level of my organization, we have a lot of resources, and we've developed a recruiting firm and a staffing agency that helps people fill staffing needs both in the sales side but in the non-sales side. And I also run a BDC company, which is kind of niche to the industry I come from, which is automotive, where I run a business development center for automotive stores, handling their inbound leads and handling their overall appointment setting aspect as well. So it just depends on the client. It all starts, though, with a consultation.
Yeah, and from what it sounds like, it's not cookie cutter, it's customized. You're really tailoring a lot of that solution to what the client needs, right? Not everyone's going to be ready for a full-on salesperson. You need to start from the beginning. How do we refine that lead gen, that lead acquisition process? Now, on that subject, building on your growth with your growing LinkedIn presence as well, how are you currently acquiring some of your clients and customers? Like which channels, whether it's LinkedIn, your industry network, referrals, what's been the most effective for landing clients for sales services?
For me, it's been referrals. It's been personal network. It's something I wish I knew earlier in my career. I'm 41 years old now. I tell you, in the first 10 years of my career, I didn't really care too much about who I stepped over or stepped on as long as I advanced in my career. Now, in the past 10 years, I've learned the value of building a valuable network. And so over the past 3 years, I'd say about 70% of the clients I have retained have either come to me through somebody I've worked with, somebody that's been a referral for me, a current client. A lot of it's been in that way. Now, we also have people within my organization who do sales outreach. I have people who take care of LinkedIn outreach and cold calling for my business and services. We have a variety of different things. I also run a podcast as well called the Ground Up Podcast. That has been a great resource for me to talk to people that I'm interested in learning from. And that has actually created a lot of gaps to be closed through that resource as well. But I would say the primary way is through just the referral and the network that I've established just through my 20 years of business.
Absolutely. Now, from what it sounds like, you've pretty much figured out a lot of those acquisition processes. What's been your approach to sales within your internal organizations? What's been the most effective for converting some of the leads into like long-term clients? Are you personally driving a lot of this? I know you have a team in place. How is all of that structured?
Yeah, I'm probably more involved than I should be in a lot of it, honestly. But I love doing sales. I love meeting with clients. I love that side of it.
Mm.
For me, the organization I built, as on the surface for a potential client, it looks like we provide consulting and staffing, but my true passion within my organization is building and developing future leaders. The opportunity that is provided to the people who work with me is that I'm truly dedicated in mentoring, coaching them, and developing and to be a future leader in my organization. I have so many people on my team that have been with me for 3 to 7 years. Every single person in my team started off at the entry level. Not a single person came in at a leadership level role. I currently have 3 business partners that work with me that at one point were entry level employees. Now they've elevated to business partners who run a subsegment of my business. And on the day-to-day side of closing and presenting and offering, I think the true differentiator that we offer, though, is to the point you made earlier, which is the personalization of the process. There's many clients I'll go into and I'll say, you don't have to pay us anything on the upfront. We'll actually come in a performance-based model exclusively. I'm confident that my product and my team can deliver results for you. Now, if you're going to pay us on performance, you're going to pay us more handsomely when we do perform, obviously. But we have different models. We have flat fee models where people can pay just for time, and for people can also pay in a commission-based, performance-based model as well. So that customization and being able to tailor that for every client creates a lot of opportunity and removes a lot of the potential pause of whether they want to move forward or not. If I don't perform, if I'm not as good as I say I am, they ultimately have to pay me nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say that. From what it sounds like, there's a lot of flexibility that you're offering clients, and it's really not just like a one fit solution, really being open to tailoring sort of the deal and what you offer based on where they're at in the process. And it
Yep.
comes off as authentic too, right? It's not necessarily like you pushing or shoving down something that's just going to be the way it is. Now, from what it sounds like, this growth has been super impressive. You have a ton of traction within the sales and consulting space. If there was like one bottleneck that stood out, what would it be? Is it attracting even like the right fits at the end of the day to work with, scaling on the fulfillment side? What are you most focused on solving right now to keep the momentum going?
And this is going to sound like a crazy answer, but a lot of what I've been doing over the past couple months is identifying the businesses that I want to spend my time with. One of the unfortunate parts of a consultant business, at least where I'm at within the process of my business, that a lot of that business has to be done and managed by me, and I only have but so much time. So for me, I look at every opportunity and I look like, can I sell my knowledge and experience, or do I have to sell my time? If I can sell my knowledge, experience, and resources, there's a lot more clients I can take on and a bigger impact I can make. If it's me having to run that side of business, or I am the product, not spin wheel, then it just makes it to where it's less for me to do. So over the past 3 months, I've actually cut off a couple of businesses, a couple of clients that were taking more time, that did not allow me to be able to take advantage of other things that I wanted to do because I was limited on time and what I saw more value in long term.
Yeah, absolutely. And really leveraging your own storytelling, your own personal brand to do a lot of that for you from what it sounds like. That's super exciting with everything you've accomplished, really like building a sales academy and growing your client base. I know we're on this topic, but what's like top of mind for growing Spinwheel sales over the next 6 to 12 months? Like, what does that runway look like in 2025?
Yeah, and it's an ever evolving thing. I think one of the things that absolutely helps me is that I'm not married to a very specific plan. I've
Mhm.
created a plan, I've come up with structure behind that, but I'm willing and able to be agile as I see opportunities shift. Because when I originally created Spinwheel Academy,
Mhm.
none of this that I do from a day-to-day perspective was in my plan, and eventually it evolved and evolved and evolved, and we got to where we are today. So I would tell you right now, in the next 6 months, the part of my business that has both become more financially fruitful and more profitable for me has been the BDC. And the BDC is probably where I have the most opportunity for growth, the biggest opportunity of excitement around that, and that's probably where I will spend the majority of my time.
Love that. I know in the background you have quite a bit, but let's get a bit hypothetical here, Matt. I love your passion for really like sales excellence in general and really establishing yourself as like the thought leader in the room. If you had a genie and you rub the lamp and now you have all these unlimited resources, what would you implement immediately to accelerate Spinwheel's sales growth?
Probably a better marketing approach. There's things that I've tried to learn within myself and to do within my team, but there's things that I just don't have a knowledge of and experience. And as somebody who does consulting, one of the things that I've opened up is I've actually reached out to people to help consult with me on things that I don't know and I don't know how to do or I could be better at. And one of the things that a coach and a consultant said to me is, man, I get the impression that a lot of times you are in your mind, the smartest guy in the room. I would tell you that you're probably not as good of a leader as you think you are if you don't challenge yourself to have people who are smarter than you in other parts of your business around you. If you find yourself having a bunch of junior versions of you, yeah, you can manage those. But where you become a real leader is when you can entice and get other people that think differently than you, that's going to allow you to grow. So I would say for me, one of the biggest points of focus I want to have is trying to bring in people who have the same interest and motivation as I do, but think around business or know around business in a different way. One of my business partners for one of our segments of our business, he's a real estate wholesaler. His name's Matt Walton. He has a huge amount of knowledge in wholesaling and real estate. I know nothing about it. Now, my staffing model fits perfectly with his knowledge. So we built a whole virtual assistant business for that industry around that, having other people who have a niche industry relationships knowledge that I can attach my model to that can help me expand in a new area, I think would be my biggest area of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And really diversifying what else you can start to leverage within your own model. Now, one more question and we'll wrap up in the lightning round. How do you see the sales consulting industry evolving in the coming years, especially with your specific focus on staff and training? How is Spinwheel Sales positioning itself for that type of future?
To be honest with you, I haven't thought that much about it. I probably should think a little bit more about it. I think there's a lot of things that are going to happen in the coming years with AI and software and technology. And I think that just the utilization of ChatGPT and be able to solve and answer a lot of questions for a lot of people, I think have become valuable. But I think the most important thing that I offer that I don't see a lot of other salespeople or consultants offer, which is the ability to put food on your plate. And let me give you an analogy. And I was just actually talking to a group of new salespeople that I had on my team. So often when people talk about sales, they talk about the closers, the presenters, the people who generate books of business. And those are great. And let's just put that into an analogy of you being the best cook in the world. If you have to depend on the grocery store to provide you with the food to cook, then you're always at the mercy of the supply chain or the grocery store. Now, what I offer to companies and what I offer to individuals who come in and get mentored and coached by me is I teach them how to harvest their own food, how to hunt for their food, how to fish for their food. And that way, as they become an amazing cook, they always know where to go find the food and know how to put food on their plate that they can cook. So often, sales professionals, sales consultants, sales leaders don't know how to go generate leads by picking up the phone and having the tough conversations in an environment that they don't know. So often I meet with clients, like I close 70% of my deals. They
Right.
don't realize that they're all hand raisers, they're all referrals, they're all inbound leads. And
Yeah.
that's a far different philosophy than when you're going out finding your leads, you're hunting for your food. And that I think is something that not many people want to do, and definitely not many people know how to do it effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Being well-rounded and creating predictability and sustainability in your revenue pipeline, essentially by diversifying and really sharpening those skill sets as well outside of just the conversion aspect, which seems to be glamorized almost. For some of the listeners, entrepreneurs, and founders looking to follow in your footsteps, what's the best piece of advice that you would offer to them about scaling a consulting business, perhaps from your career or like an industry mentor? What would you say to them?
What is your why? What is your purpose? I think if you don't answer that question before you do it, then you'll likely never be able to do what you want to do. For me,
Mm,
my purpose is not making money. My purpose is not necessarily helping clients. Now, that is the outcome of my purpose, but the thing that drives me to get more clients is so that I have an opportunity to coach and mentor more people. The coaching and mentoring of people, making them better, in turn, helps me make more money. But my purpose is not becoming a millionaire or
yeah.
becoming super rich or becoming financially free. My passion is being able to take somebody who's never done sales, teach them how to do sales, how to be exceptional, how to develop themselves to be able to develop other people and to become a leader. The thing I would say, one of the most proud things I am when it comes to my own personal resume is the fact that I have more than a dozen people who started with me with ever doing sales that are in executive level roles in corporate sales at this point. That's something I'm more proud about than any personal level accomplishment I've done. So if you go out and you want to do it, just ask yourself, why do I want to do it? Is it because I think it's going to be easy? Is it because I think it's going to make me a ton of money? Because newsflash, owning your own business, being an entrepreneur is not easier. You don't work less hours. I work probably, and I'm not proud of this, but I work 15 to 17 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. But it's because it's what I love to do, not because I'm trying to find a way to make a lot of money for a little bit of work. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's almost a glamorization of sales in general being like that one thing that's going to make you 5, 6 figures each month, but there's so much more behind it. And you're passionate about growing people in your organization. So that definitely does resonate with the audience. And we're excited to follow your journey over the next few months. On that note, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Matt, thank you so much for just sharing your remarkable journey with us today. 20 years in sales development and founding Spin Wheel Sales. You're really empowering businesses and also people with elite staffing, consulting, and even like with the academy as well, a lot of that knowledge base. So to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find some more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class sales systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one.